Okay, let's go over some tools and equipment. Starting off in the end here, we have a small little shop vac here. These little ones are great. They don't take up a lot of room in the truck. And generally it's not a large mess you're cleaning up, just something small, maybe a lower return that has some garbage in it that you need to suck out of there. Moving over here, we have some rigid battery operated tools, a impact driver, and a couple of these basically like a drill driver that you can move this and twist them down into a more of a pistol shape. These, our techs actually carry them with them. So I can do this one-handed, there we go, while they're on the job for removing and replacing vent covers and such like that. Batteries on these are getting pretty old, probably could use a new set of batteries. Also have a cat double cuts here, 120 volt. Typically don't use this a lot, more for commercial applications when we have thicker sheet metal to deal with. Moving on, we have a small toolbox here with some of the accessories that are kept in it. This one is kept in the back of the box truck, basically for maintenance on like the compressor, which is mounted in there. There's small socket sets, some screwdrivers, a deal for changing out a spark plug if necessary, some more Allen wrenches. Moving on to some of the daily use tools, we have a tool bucket here where most of everything you see here would go inside of it. And we use, these are called our tech packs, which we have two of those, one for each member of the team. We have a lead and then a tech. Very large flashlight there, mag light. And then on this tech pack here, which basically hangs right on their belt, we have some safety gear for obvious use. We have an LED flashlight, a Sharpie. This here is a little, this folds out. I can do it one-handed here. And then one of these drill drivers here actually hangs right in here, so everything you need is all on your side. We also carry two different, a flathead and a Phillips head driver, and then typically we keep a 1/4 inch driver on these units because that's going to be used probably the most. In the main pouch here we have a 6-way for doing anything quickly by hand, and then a utility blade in case there was maybe a register had been painted on and we need to cut around that. So that keeps us good and organized. Moving on a little, we have a headlamp, which a lot of times if you run into an older basement that maybe doesn't have good lighting in the furnace room, you can use that. Some of these little pocket mirrors or extension mirrors are great for looking down a duct that may be a suspicious one. You're curious if you got it all. I have some metallized tape. This is a small little container we use to keep our 1/2 inch zip screws, which we have lots and lots of these, which we'll go over in a sec. We purchased those in bulk and put them in these little containers. 3 2.5 inch hole saws. We have these two regular ones and one in here that is inside this little unit. It's called a chip master. So if you're in an area where you didn't want to get metal chips anywhere, you can use this, and this plastic piece catches them. Some extra bits, some Sharpies, your air wands, some of your basic hand tools regarding sheet metal for snips. We have a left and a right straight snip, a left and a right offset snip, hammer, screwdriver, your putty knife, tape measure. We have some Marvel oil there for oiling. We have a pneumatic powered brush system, which we'll go over a little later. A tool for making sure that the tires in the truck are good. Again, this is the bucket we would keep all that in. All this here is all screws. We buy screws in bulk. This one has 49 pounds in it, 33 pounds. There's probably about $500 worth of screws here. Enough to last a lifetime, all these 1/4 inch zip screws. And these are 2 containers as well. This also has 1.5 inch zip screws for when you need something a little longer. For plugs, we have an entire box here. This is probably about 600 left in it of 2.5 inch plugs that we use that just pop in and hold extremely securely after we've made that hole. It also allows future access. We also do use 1 inch plugs, not very often, but now and again when we run into an octopus system that doesn't have a trunk line, we may tap some of the 6-inch ducts with these that have several bends in them to make sure we're getting them in all the way. To go along with what our tech would use is we have these special cardboard buckets where the center has larger pieces and the outsides each have smaller pieces for the 2 different size ducts you're going to mainly see. Each one of these buckets does a 25 vent house roughly. So if it's 25 or less, you generally would just grab 1 bucket. If it's larger house, we'll grab 2. And then here usually carries blue tape. Also here is templates. We have templates for basically every size furnace filter ever made, because as a part of our process, and you'd learn in the training, we do block off the filter or segregate the system where the filter is. So here's an overview of some of our hand tools.